Good morning, children. So, children, today we are going to start our second point, that is a word in revolt. Okay. So, out here it's written that a cherry that will drop into our mouth one day. So, this sentence is been said by one of the Britishers. So, out here a cherry is a fruit. So, by this it means that that fruit will drop into our mouth one day. It means that the cherry, the fruit, has been compared with the Awadh kingdom, and it has been said that this kingdom will one day come into our control. Okay, so in 1851, Governor General Lord Dalhousie described the kingdom of Awadh as a cherry, that is a fruit that will drop into our mouth one day. So that means that he will capture one day the Awadh kingdom. Why? As it was a powerful kingdom. So in 1856, Awadh was being annexed by the British, and as in 1801, Subsidiary Alliance was imposed on Awadh. That is, under Subsidiary Alliance, some rules was being imposed. So as you all know, regarding Subsidiary Alliance, you all have studied in your previous class. So let us just recall it once. So Subsidiary Alliance was a system devised by Lord Wellesley in 1798. So all those who enter into such an alliance with the British had to accept certain terms and conditions. So what were the terms? Like the first one was the British would be responsible for protecting their ally from external and internal threat to their power. And the second condition was that in the territory of the ally, a British armed contingent would be stationed. Now, third, we can see that the ally would have to provide the resources for maintaining this contingent. So, last condition was that the ally could enter into any agreement with other ruler or engage in warfare only with the permission of the British. Understood regarding the Subsidiary Alliance? So, under the Subsidiary Alliance to Awadh kingdom, some rules was been imposed by the Britishers. So, what was that? It was that under the condition of Subsidiary Alliance, the Nawab had to dismiss his military force and had to place British troop in his kingdom. That is, he has to remove his army from the kingdom and he has to put the British troop in his kingdom. So out here we can also see that all the decision and any new rules to be implemented should be done on the advice of British. So as per this, we can see that Nawab became dependent on the British as all laws and order was being followed on account of British rules. Clear? Even Nawab did not have any control over chief and talukdar, as the soil of Awadh kingdom was very fertile for cultivations of indigo and cotton. So the British, what they did? They captured those fertile land. Why? As to do cultivation of indigo and cotton in huge abundance to make profit from it. Clear? So next we will move on to the life was gone out of the body. So out here, as annexations of Awadh which been done by Lord Dalhousie had created dissatisfaction to all the area, as because Awadh was a main center and it is located in the heart of North. Nawab Wajid Ali was being dethroned from his kingdom and he was being sent to Calcutta. Why? On the basis of the Britishers, they have given the reason of maladministration. As the Britishers has said that due to maladministration, Nawab was being dethroned from and sent to Calcutta. But this was not the actual reason, or we can say this was not the correct reason. What the Britishers they said, the Nawab was being loved by the people from Lucknow to Kanpur. That is, from Lucknow to Kanpur, all the people used to like Nawab. They were happy with the rules of Nawab. As when he was being dethroned and sent to exile. People were in grief, sorrow. People had written their feeling in the poem or in the verse as like the life was gone out of the body and the body of this town had been left lifeless. So it was been said as the Nawab was been dethroned from Awadh, it seemed that the life has gone out of the body and that town has become lifeless, as it seemed that no one is residing out there, no one is happy. So, after the removal of Nawab, the court poet and his culture, we can say that has come to an end, as because there was musicians, dancer, poet, artisan, cooks, administrative officer, all were there who has lost their job, as because the Britishers, they have thrown them out from their job and they placed a British person out there in that particular work. Clear? So next we will move on to Firangi Raj and the end of a world. So as the Britishers, that is, they were called Firangi as they came and the world has come to an end, as there was sorrow, grievance in Awadh due to the removal of Nawab. So during that time, peasant, prince, talukdar, sepoy were united. Not only Nawab, even talukdar was being removed from the region, and they used to have vast land and used to control the land and had power, and it used to go generation to generation. That is, today's that particular talukdar used to have a control in a vast land. After his death, his son used to have the control. He used to use the power. So before the coming of the British, talukdar used to maintain armed force also, as they used to have foot soldier. Like big talukdar, they had 12,000, whereas small talukdar used to has 200 foot soldier. Clear? And the talukdar, they have forts and they also used to pay very less taxes. Now, when Britishers came, they were being disarmed. The talukdar has been destroyed. Whatever power they were having, that all was been taken. Even their fort was being destroyed. So after annexations, the Britishers has imposed talukdar for collections of revenue settlement, which was called or which was known as summary settlement, and they act as interloper and they do not have a permanent land. As we have seen that before the coming of the Britishers, they used to have a vast land, they used to have a control in the vast land, they were having the permanent land, but after the annexations, they were not having any permanent land of their own. So during pre-British time, talukdar had 67% of total number of village in Awadh which comes under their control, whereas it has reduced later to 38%. So Britishers, they believe that if they take away land from talukdar and will give it to the peasant, as by doing this, present exploitation will be less and they could collect more taxes from the peasant easily. So Britishers has increased the taxes and the burden on peasant did not decrease, as talukdar used to collect tax but also used to help them when they are in problem, but they could not accept this thing from the Britishers. So as many talukdar was loyal to Nawab, so they joined Begum Hazrat Mahal. She was Begum of Nawab in Lucknow. That is the talukdar, they supported Begum Hazrat Mahal in Lucknow to fight against the Britishers. Now during that time, peasants were also suffering, and the pain and suffering of the peasant was being transferred to sepoy. So how the problem of the peasant, their pain was being transferred to sepoy? Let's see. Like, as the sepoy were getting low salary and no leave and even no promotion was been given to Indian sepoy, only to the British sepoy they were getting all those facilities. So in 1820, white officer used to maintain friendly relation with the sepoy, But in 1857 we can see that it was totally opposite. The relationship between them has changed, as earlier we can see that they used to enjoy hunting, wrestling, fencing, and many were fluent in Hindi language, and they were even the white officer were familiar with their culture and custom. But in 1840s, situation has changed. Officer, they used to regard them as superior. So they started to discriminate, use abuse language, and they put them down, that is to the sepoy they used to put them down. They always used to show them down to us, and they were also doubting upon them. Earlier they used to trust the sepoy, but later on they started doubting on them. Clear? So these all were the reason due to which the revolt took place in Awadh. Clear? So due to all this reason has created a situation to revolt against the Britishers. Clear? I hope you have understood. So today till dismiss, student. Thank you.